Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever time it is in the cosmos when this is finding you. Welcome to Kai Chi Alchemy. You can call me Katchi. This is a space of love, y'all. I want to thank y'all for showing up. Thank you for co-creating community with us. Thank you for all of that engagement. Thank you guys for being here with me today. Yesterday was, I don't even know what was going on in the astrology and stuff. So I'd be curious to know 111 on the clock how yesterday went for y'all. But I personally had all kinds of big plans, including showing up here. And my body said, absolutely not. You are going to take this day off. I cleaned my kitchen, fell asleep. I cooked food, I fell asleep. Like for 24, 48 hours. I just, where the moon is at, where my hormonal cycle is at, everything says there should be the opposite type of time. But it's just not. 212 on the clock. So things are probably not what you expect them to be right now. That's okay. I've been dealing a lot with boys, not just like online, like hitting on me and stuff after I've set the guidelines. I really need to make actual community guidelines where you have to like click on it and consent and all of that stuff. I will get into that eventually. But also just like in my day-to-day life, everywhere that I go, work, any community, anything. And it's not just that. I mean, it's just the people perceiving me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just having a hangover. I don't drink. I just mean that I went so long using the strategy of calming my nervous system down by being unseen and invisible that as I'm trying to work up this muscle, I think maybe I haven't been quite as respectful to my natural resistance. Maybe I've been pushing myself a little bit faster and harder and more intensely than I need to. Mom? It is 8:11 a.m. where I am at right now. Where are you at? Ah. Yeah, no. I don't really get involved with people online. But maybe I should be reconsidering that. Because there's something I think I appreciate about being online. I guess some people would say it's the opposite, where you have the potential to like be more fake, right? That is what a lot of people do on the internet. So I get that. But for me personally, when I express things on the internet, it is like bypassing that whole filter of what other people are going to think about it. And I just put it out there because it's like such a wide, it gets out to so many different people. You cannot possibly reasonably assume that you could try to placate everybody. That would be impossible. But when you're like in real life, I think that there's usually a greater likelihood of being swayed into like people pleasing things. I don't know. Yeah. I suppose. I think that there's good reason why people struggle like trusting people that they meet online. But again, I feel like a lot of my closest friends and family have been really not not there for me in the way that I would like, in the way that a lot of people that I have met online have been. So I think that there's something about like reaching out into other communities. You know what? What it is it's like as a massage therapist, I would never like proposition or hit on or say anything in that vein. I wouldn't even like comment on somebody's tattoos or that they have like nice eyes or something. Like that it shouldn't be coming out of my mouth because of the expectations in the relationship, right? So here, this is a service relationship, and it is there's like a power imbalance, and I'm like sharing and giving. And yes, we are building community here, but I am the leader here, in a manner of speaking. I get to decide and like figure out where people are crossing the line and take them out of the chat and all of that kind of stuff. So no, I'm not offended in any way. Um, it's just that I'm not. Yeah, I don't meet people in bars. I'm I'm not looking. I'm not looking to be in a relationship right now. Like I'm open to whatever happens in my life, but I'm not actively dating right now. So that's why. It's not like personal. Yeah. Um but yeah, again, something about ethics, something about relationships, like power dynamics. Mm, that could be student teacher, that could be like parent child, that could be like a practitioner and a client, could be like a boss, a superior, and an employee, something like that. So maybe you have some kind of relationship or dynamic that has unclear expectations and boundaries. Or maybe like somebody's been like taking advantage of the lack of clarity, the lack of expectations and boundaries. And you could be called right now to like stand up for yourself, clear that up in some way. The collective that is here today tapped into this message. What do they need to see, hear, feel, experience at this time? Hmm. The intensity can absolutely be understood, Artie. I love a good Scorpio. I have Venus in Scorpio. I have Pluto in Scorpio. I have Midheaven in Scorpio. So it's like I place I place the value on the intensity. I place the value on the authenticity. If, oh, I wonder if he's even still here. Yeah, I don't know. I can't even tell which way this deck is supposed to go. There's so many reversals. You may be dealing with that kind of thing in life. It's like, is up down, is down up. Like, maybe there were expectations and boundaries in the past, but there's some shifting of the goalposts. and you're just like, so it's like vertigo I'm feeling. You feel like, what did I say last week or whatever? Do you feel like your head's in a washing machine? You are still here? Yeah, sometimes it says that there's nobody watching, but I can clearly tell that people are because they're commenting and they're liking, and so there's just like a delay. I apologize for only having the information. I only know what I'm told. Sometimes I'm told things by unexpected sources, but I only know what I'm told. What do you have in Scorpio? Is it just that your sun? Just your sun. But, like, is that what you're referring to? Are you sun in Scorpio? What is going on with this collective, huh? Can I? Oh. Okay. Fire. Okay. Can I get some clarifiers on that? Please and thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, I appreciate that. I do. I just had to get real, like, I can laugh at somebody's joke, or like, I've even had this experience recently where I'm like, I can be attracted to you. I can say a thing that could be taken as an innuendo, and I don't mean it that way. But I get why you would assume that I do if you know that I'm attracted to you. Which is why I just, like, don't freaking share any of that information with people ever, usually. Because people be making assumptions, jump into conclusions. I'm sure you're familiar with that as a Scorpio. People really like to project all over a Scorpio. But Scorpios like to project all over people too, so careful with that. Just, just because you are the shadow doesn't mean everything. Everything around you is the shadow. Okay. Oh, I'm liking this better so far. Maybe you felt good, then you felt confused. And now things are still a little confusing, but you're feeling better about it for some reason. Okay. We'll maybe get some more clarifiers on this. Strength on the bottom of the deck. I saw that was going to call it out a couple of times, and then it just kept being on the bottom of the deck. Not like it was the only card and I kept not putting cards on the bottom. Like, it kept coming out in the same position. Crazy. I don't even know what to say to that, bro. You were born November 17th. That's such a freaking insane coincidence. I recently realized that my ex, who I had blocked and like I haven't been talking to for years, but I just had a weird feeling I should look him up online. He got arrested 3 times in the last few months, and one of them was on November 17th. And I didn't know it at the time, but then I looked back and I was like, oh my gosh, there was stuff going on in my life that was super crazy on November 17th of last year. What is that? The Scorpio Sagittarius cusp? I believe so. That's intense. That's a lot of fire. That's a lot. Scorpio Sag kind of gives me like like blowing up your reputation and like moving far away into far off lands. And those lands could be metaphorical, you know. I love this Fool card. It's like she's so fully aware that she's can't see where she's going. She did that on purpose, and she's trusting. She's very happy about that. You'll be 32 this year? That's insane. I should definitely start having friends and dating people who are more in my age range, because I just really, really, really get along with people much younger than me or much older than me. But I think part of that is probably this power imbalance thing, right? When you have certain kinds of like childhood trauma and stuff, you have like a parent who uses their I'm bigger and stronger and smarter and have like more pull in this society than you do, so I'm going to use it to control you because I don't know how to control myself because I'm a baby raising a baby, you know? And so you usually in those situations don't have like a good example of peer relationships, of partner relationships. Like maybe your other parent wasn't in the home. Maybe it was they were in the home, but it was like really unhealthy communication going on there. Um, but yeah, there's usually a huge lack in examples of what it's like to interact with somebody that's like on the same level as you in so many ways, and doing that in a healthy way, and all you have experience of is this child that has a lot of like spiritual and emotional intelligence, and they're trying to like share that with their parents, but their parents aren't as receptive as they need to be, and so the kid has to like find ways to kind of manipulate and force things, and the parent has to figure out how to manipulate and force things to get the kid to do what they want the kid to do to keep everybody safe and alive and everything, and it's just this like mutual control. This mutual freaking out. It's like it's not a safe feeling. And when you grow up and that's all you know is like trying desperately to balance things out between two people that have different roles, but they're not like equipped for those roles exactly. Yeah, I think that when you're in those situations, it's not necessarily that you enjoy being around people that are younger than you or older than you exactly, but in some way, like people that I'm gonna be kind of offensive to some people, but like there this you'll see it if your value is that if somebody is overweight that they're lesser, then you will find people oftentimes who are overweight to surround yourself with to like try to help them or like feel better than them, you know, in a manner of speaking. People rarely do this consciously, of course. It's just important to be able to look back on and important to be able to see in other people. So it's like you were not equally yoked with something, and maybe the expectations and the boundaries had some kind of delineation, but it wasn't adequate. And now there's like some kind of power struggle going on, right? Power struggle. We have Six of Wands in the reverse right here in the recent past. So that's like everybody that's a part of this collective experienced. Well, this is the victory card. And we kept getting, there is no victory here for some of these people in this collective here. Like you realized something wasn't going to end the way that you hoped. Six of Pentacles, because the reciprocity wasn't there. Sometimes when you have people of different skill levels, different abilities, um, that can be different but the same, like different but equal. But it can also blur things. So what if it's not equal? It's harder to tell that. If everything is all blue and it's all cold, and you're both all blue and you're all cold, then you can judge one all blue, all cold thing against another. Which one's more blue? Which one's more cold? But if your value lies in different areas, then it can be real easy to misinterpret that equally yokedness, right? And you don't want to be around people that are exactly like you. So it's important to be able to find that like yin yang relationship, right? Where it's balanced, but you're not exactly the same. But whatever you were dealing with, it wasn't that. It was hiding. How different you were from the people around you was hiding that they weren't on your level in some respect. And that might not be in general on all levels, but in a really important area. Like if it was a work thing, something professional, if it was a love thing, like something emotional maturity wise, like, you know what I mean? So there was no victory in this give and take in this relationship. It was imbalanced, and it was easy to hide that it was imbalanced. It was easy to not see that. But in your present position, we had the Knight of Wands. This is like a Sagittarius energy. We were just talking about Scorpio Sagittarius. So Scorpio is like a dark night of the soul. Sagittarius is like coming up out of the dark night of the soul. You've finally allowed yourself to recognize the inherent danger in the situation that you were in. And so that's taken you out of this space of mental entrapment. Just in the naming of the truth and the being honest with yourself about what you see so that you can move forward in the way that works best for everybody. And that's not necessarily to say that you're going to be speaking to the people that we're talking about here about that, because they may or may not be able to even receive that, right? Emotionally, intellectually, whatever the flavor is here. But the Knight of Wands, they're action takers. You know, a page is a planner, and Knight is an action taker. So you're moving forward on the inspiration that came from this realization that you were not equally yoked with some of these people that you were in some kind of Libran dynamic with, that you had some kind of like partnership relationship with. And in recognizing that it's not really a partnership relationship, you don't have to do a whole lot. It really is the perception that was the danger. And now that you are moving from that place, from that place of clarity and like spiritual inspiration, and I mean, confidence, that's a big part of this card, right? And honest expression, right? Beating your drum to your own drum beat, drummer. You know what I'm trying to say. Oh man, hi. What's going on? Um, that sounds fair enough, Artie. Totally. Hey, Miles. I appreciate that honesty. My ego said people do it consciously. But you're right, some are on autopilot. What's the freaking difference at this point? If you're living on autopilot, like, can't I call you out for that? I know you're not doing it on purpose, but you're also not doing anything on purpose. That's a problem. Grr. Just noticing the chat. Um, yeah, yeah, I can do that. Well, no, we can hang out, but here's the thing. It's like, if I know already that you're interested in me in a romantic sense, then it's not appropriate to be connecting on this like student teacher dynamic. So, yes, we can connect on a Libran wavelength as peers, and I can share with you things that I have to share with you, and vice versa. But as far as like the client and service provider role, there are very clear expectations and boundaries inherent in that. So we can totally have different boundaries and we'll figure that out. But, I think that that's really important to have those expectations clear from the beginning, because it can just like add so many layers of confusion after that. Um, Okay. So I know I say this all the time, and I did totally stand everybody up yesterday, so feel free to not believe me if you don't wanna. Um, but for all of y'all who would like to set up some time to hang out off of YouTube, email me, and I will email all of you back within the next 7 days, probably way sooner than that. And I will have a sticky note to remind me of this. And I allowed myself to rest like I needed to yesterday. So I don't see any reason why I won't be able to meet you there with that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, my email address that I'm speaking of, you can find on the description box. It's in most of the videos, probably not this one since it's live, but um, also on like the main page of Kai Chi Alchemy's YouTube page. You go on there, there's a description box, and you can find my email address right there. Um, yeah. But I think that this is definitely speaking to this spread. Um, there was a lack of clarity. Both these cards are upside down. Like you were in a house of mirrors, you know? This Eight of Swords has a mirror in it. It doesn't usually. And this is like in the current position, you're like breaking those mirrors. You're in a house of mirrors, and you go in with this horse, and you're just like a bull in a china shop. Like, I'm gonna knock all this shit down. So, that's necessary, right? Tower energy, shaking things up, questioning things that you weren't questioning before. That's important. But just because things weren't the way that you thought that they were, you can't keep yourself from ever believing that anything is the way it seems ever again. That will lead you to some crazy psychosis stuff we don't need to be dealing with. It's just important for a time, and right now is that time. But in the near future, you're going to be out of this Knight of Wands and Eight of Swords reversed energy. You're not going to be knocking down all of these mirrors anymore and setting things on fire. You're going to be out of the air and the fire. And you're going to be back here, which was what you were looking for in the beginning. But you were looking for it in Six of Pentacles. You were looking for it in other people. This King of Pentacles, it could be like a love interest or some like, I don't know, like a home and inheritance coming towards you, a mentor or something like that. But mostly for most of y'all, I'm getting this is you. This is the King of Pentacles energy of sitting in the warming fire of this house of mirrors that you just turned into a fireplace. You just turned into a bonfire. When glass gets really hot, it like pops and breaks, right? So you might want to back up a little bit. You might want to create a bunch of chaos. and then back up, cozy up into your own little secure corner with your little wolf dog. Drink some hot chocolate, eat some popcorn, watch the Midsommar house go down, right? Yeah, exactly. In your near future, you're steady, chilling, grounded because you have cut ties with these forces that say one thing but are actually in a different energy and confuse the heck out of you. You're not confused anymore. You know who you are, you know what you are doing, you know what you're trying to accomplish, and it doesn't really matter what they say or do anymore. So you're solid. And while you're solid in the near future, while you're watching this stuff go down, it's like you're walking away, you're moving on. 10 of Wands, end of the line, packing up, moving to a new place, packing up all this moon energy, all this illusion, all this confusion, all this. This can potentially be like emotional manipulation and stuff. 3131 on the clock. So it's like anywhere that lacks clarity in your life. Right now, you're kind of in the process, consciously or just because of circumstances in your life, slashing and burning to make way for this new home, this new energy. That's the thing, also. Like, if I have a client that is attracted to me, then we have to end that type of relationship. You know what I mean? Um, but we can, that doesn't mean that I still do readings for my friends and stuff. Like, I'm just saying that having like a paid professional relationship with somebody um, is, it's important to have those expectations and those boundaries from the beginning, right? Yeah. So it's not specifically that you're going to be in some kind of magical place with perfect people. It's more that you have developed this like self-trust and this ability to move through spaces and use your discernment and make judgments and cut off things that need to be cut off. And yeah, exactly. We can be professional here. I appreciate the, you know, forthrightness as somebody who honestly is generally not very forthright about things. Um, in that regard. And I do it to try to be helpful, but often it creates more confusion than not, right? And we don't want to create confusion. So it may feel intense. It may feel like all this slashing and burning of this house of mirrors is dramatic. People may look at you like that person from Midsommar, or what else? Like the Joker, or like, you know, there's so many movies coming through and stuff. But like, you know, people may look at you like a little weird. They're like, why are you destroying this? And it's because they listen to words and not energy. And that's okay. But that may or may not lead them into this kind of energy for themselves, but not even consciously, not as a choice, just as a natural consequence of continuously making decisions that aren't working And then the universe is going to be like, hey, this is not working. You can see that, right? No? Okay, we're going to make you see that. But I feel like most of the people here are taking responsibility for that. And because of that, you're going to be a lot deeper into your King of Pentacles energy when you have arrived there, when you have achieved that level of unshakableness in yourself. That's the first time I've ever seen a bug in my house. Man, we've been raining so much over here. I gotta take extra precautions. That's okay. I like bugs. I really like spiders. But all the bugs are good. They all have a purpose, right? I don't know about that yet. Oh, cool. Yeah. Please feel free to reach out to me over email. That is going to be my primary filtering process step there. And if anybody else wants to partner up, do some collabs, ask some questions, set up a reading, make a request on the channel, whatever. You know where to find that in the description box on the main page, and I'll see you there. Man, the lighting got crazy. We're all cloudy today. So I did intend to read Father Feodorite yesterday or today, but because this energy has just taken me down and I need to sleep a whole lot, I'm just gonna do that. And we will see you for that chapter when we see you for that chapter. I appreciate y'all for showing up today and connecting in a little bit. Seems like your head is already halfway out of the washing machine, and soon you will be wet and soapy and confused, but no head in the washing machine. Just kind of processing the after effects. There's so many wolves in this future position. Interesting. Finding your independence even like within whatever systems you feel like you need to work with to do what you need to do. Oh, just because I said something about my head being in a washing machine last week, just we got all kinds of inside jokes and stuff going on in here. Not just because I think we should for the channel, but because that's a problem I have. I make jokes where it's like both and. Like everything I say is sarcasm. It's just like, is it 1% sarcasm or is it 99% sarcasm? I don't know. We'll figure it out. I am so spaced out this Mercury retrograde. I gotta be honest. This is a weird one. It's not bad. It's just very pre-verbal. And I already deal with enough of that. We got an oracle card for y'all here. Examine existing beliefs. Exactly. That's what this is all about. This isn't exactly specifically about changing environments, could be, but this is about changing the environment internally. This is about changing what you believe to be possible. You might want to check out the Mont Saint Michael reading that we did recently. I think that would be really relevant to a lot of you guys. But yeah, it's like I appreciate humor that you can pick up or you cannot pick up. And I don't think people like that sometimes because they're like, why aren't you including me? Because I only want people to be included who are ready for it. You know what it gives? It's if you don't believe, then you can't read the Bible and get something beneficial out of it. Or any text, if you don't believe in it, you're not going to get out of it what you're intended to. And so there's a lot of religious traditions, spiritual traditions, philosophical traditions that talk about concepts through allegory and in ways where it's not direct. It's not x plus y equals z. It's not 1 plus 1 equals 2. You can read it and completely miss the energetic, like the underlying energetics of what was intended there, and that's intentional. You're being hidden. When people misunderstand you, when people reject you, when people see you incorrectly, it's because those people generally, if they could see you correctly, would be a threat to you. They would be threatened by you. And so it is a protective mechanism, I guess, to present and to speak and to move through the world in a way where it's like there's multiple meanings to everything I do and say, and I'm going to leave this this common one for people who aren't ready. They aren't prepared. They aren't capable of taking in the energy that I'm intending, or like it's not safe. Like they're not good stewards for that understanding yet. So they misunderstand to protect them from having wisdom and knowledge and insight and power that they aren't responsible for, don't know how to be responsible for. And it's protecting me from them seeing their enemies correctly, right? So I want everybody in this group to remember that the next time that something doesn't work out, or the next time that you feel misunderstood in one of these environments, is, just because somebody sees you a certain way, do you have to believe that? Because somebody's always wrong. And you know yourself better than anybody else does. Especially if you're willing and able to examine your existing beliefs, and if they are off base, if they're not working, that you're willing to destroy things that you identified with in the past because of that misunderstanding, because of that misalignment, because maybe you weren't ready to be a steward of that information yet. But you will be soon. You're going to be a king. You're going to be a king who knows how to work really, really hard to make what he wants happen in the world to happen, and who has a relationship with his emotions and his subconscious, and knows how to balance those two things to be like a mature teacher, leader, elder of some sort in some environment. You're definitely not going to be seen that way by everybody in every environment. Who is? But you're going to find a place where you feel like you're able to enjoy the process of giving to others and they're going to be able to enjoy the process of giving to you, and it's going to feel healthy because you're both going to be in this King of Pentacles energy, or whether it's like a big group or whatever. Interesting. What makes you say that? I remember when I was like younger, people would always assume when I was like 13 that I was like 21. I've been this height. Actually, I used to be taller. I'm shrinking. I was 5'8" when I was like 12 years old. And I started puberty really, really young. I mean, I know most people do these days. Like, that's just women's hormones are all over the place. All of ours are. But I think I've heard that that's something about having Saturn in Pisces, is that you just look much older when you're little, and then you look much younger. Like, you always look the same, kind of disconcerting. I am 31 years old. How old are you, Monty? Cute. That's so funny. The other day I was sitting around a campfire with one of my friends, and he said, wait, okay, so you're 31, so you're like a 64-year-old, 31-year-old who never had a childhood. Okay, I think things are making more sense. Yeah, that does make sense. We're all about the paradox here. Because I am the paradox. Always have been. Always have been. Hello. All right. I feel like we did a nice balance there of respecting the humanity of all the guys in the chat today without, letting any of my boundaries get overrun. I think that this was real respectful, balanced, helpful for everybody involved. I don't know why you keep talking about meeting up in person, because I have absolutely no idea the physical distance. Where are you? Because I live in Central Texas. If you're going to email me, maybe include that information in there. You know what I mean? And we can see. We can see what's actually going on there. Because I don't ever feel like I can have a proper conversation with people just in the live comments. But I try my best, and it's a lot easier to just like connect in with people's energy on a nonverbal level through your username or whatever information you have to give me. And I feel like I connect to people much more authentically that way. But with the verbal stuff, let's get clear from the beginning. I don't want to be having to burn down too many of these glass houses, because houses of mirrors. Is a glass house a totally different archetype and concept? I'm gonna have to look into that now. Midwest, San Antonio. Okay. Yeah, I'm always surprised because I know that I have at least 2/3 of my audience is like American women my age in pretty close areas to me. But it's always been surprising because, like, why does it work out that way? It just does. Bexar County. Dang. Well, you're probably used to that commute life. I appreciate trees. Yeah. So weird. I mean, I know that we have people from all around the world, but we do have a lot of locals. So feel free to shout that yourself out in the chat, everybody, whenever you get the chance. You're really not far away from me at all. Yeah, I gotta get ready for work. But no, I'm not gonna get murdered in the woods. Like, maybe I'll meet you next year if we continue to talk, and it seems like a good idea. Examine your existing beliefs. And get ready, because things are changing, whether you want it to or not. Might as well take control of yourself and your life, because otherwise it's going to try and take control of you. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't believe that. I think most people are crazy, but no shame, no judgment there. I'm assuming you just mean that I'm not going to end up chopped up in the woods. But again, boundaries from the beginning. Nice and clear. Thank you for being here. Love, light, peace, and personal responsibility. I will see you next time. It is 8:58 a.m. where I am right here. I don't know what that number means, but it might mean something to you. 51:11 on the clock. Okay. I hope that you have a beautiful, wonderful day. I'll see you next time. Thank you. I appreciate that. A lot of people think they understand consent and communication and all kinds of things. And it's not even that they are intentionally lying. They just haven't been properly educated or haven't seen things from the right perspective. But we're all on a journey here, right? Okay, that's why we come in here every day. Because I missed yesterday, I might come back today, or I might make it up some other time. Because we're in a washing machine right now, if you haven't noticed. Good Lord. Get out of here, Kaya. Get out of here. Okay. Love, light, peace, and personal responsibility. I will see you